Yeah, well, it is that time of year again, not for cooler temps, but open enrollment.
Yay! So finance professor Dan Mercado joins us live with some tips for getting the most out of your benefits. Good morning, Dan.
What's up, Chelsea? Hi, Melissa. You hear that open enrollment, your eyes sort of glaze over, but it's really, really important and valuable.
Right, but it could be kind of confusing for a lot of us. Like, you know, many of us overlook it, but as you said, this is very important. So how do we make sure we get the most out of our benefits?
Great question. Well, check this out. The average employee gets about $21,000, $22,000 in benefits aside from their salary. So these are big numbers. The biggest one that obviously we're most acquainted with is health insurance. Most working adults get health insurance through their employer. So that's the one that we really need to focus on the most. And then, of course, there's the 401k plan, there's tuition benefits, commuter benefits, daycare benefits, et cetera, et cetera. So it can be very confusing, but it also is super important.
Okay, so what are some creative ways, and we know you can pull this off, Dan, to get more value out of those benefits?
Yeah, number one, don't do it while you're driving to work. You know, trying to put your lipstick on and read the enrollment brochure at the same time. That doesn't.
Please.
Do you know us? What is this? I feel attacked.
I could use a blast of that right now. Compare the plans carefully. It's only once a year. It's usually this time of the year. So sit down with your partner, maybe look through the plans, watch those deadlines. I can't tell you the number of folks who have said to me, I was going to make a change, but I missed the deadline. Focus, if you don't have a lot of time, just focus on the big three: your 401k plan, your health insurance plan, and the tuition reimbursement that your employer might offer you. I can't tell you the number of folks that are offered tuition reimbursement and don't use it. It's a no-brainer.
Okay, so what if people maybe were, they're in a worse spot maybe than they were last year? What kind of adjustment should they make, but still continue to, you know, save for the 401k and all that?
I love that question. And maybe not just a worse spot, Chelsea, but how about just a different spot? Maybe, you know, you've gotten married, you've had a child, life happens, right? Coordinate with your partner. I was just talking to our great producer, Jessica, and she coordinates with her husband her health care benefits between her employer, his employer. Make sure you get the most out of your 401k match. And by the way, guys, you can often negotiate with your employer. So for example, I know lots of cases where you might say, you know what, I don't need the health care benefits because I get them through my partner. How about a cash stipend instead? So that's really on the table as well. There's an opportunity here for you to talk to your employer about sort of a menu of services that you can select from. Might save them some money and also benefit yourself as well.
Hey, that's the way to negotiate right there. Might need to do that when you get the new job, though, instead of when you're been there for a little bit. But you never know. And I'm just wondering, okay, so we talked about the life changes. Maybe you get married, divorce, child. If you don't have any major life changes, can you just let your eyes glaze over a little bit and forget about it and not even think about it? He says no. You're going to make me read the fine print?
I'll tell you why. I've had no big life changes in terms of my, family unit size over the last year. But our healthcare plans at work this week, they just announced some pretty big changes at the university. So what am I doing? I'm, going through, looking at the co-pays, the deductibles. It is a lot of work, but it's well worth it.
Yes, sir. I got you.
I agree. Okay. So are there anything in particular that people should look for? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
If there's one tip I can give everybody in Houston this morning, it's focus on your 401k plan this morning. As you're going into work, as you're coming home from work this afternoon, make sure that you're getting the most out of that retirement plan at work. What I mean by that is, look at that employer match, and if you're not getting up to 100% of that match next year, you want to make that change now to get it next year.
All right, Dan the man, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We're in the know now.
Guys, take care.
He's always keeping us in line. Thank you, Dan.